Now, Jacob had 12 sons. Their names are Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. Now, Joseph was the second youngest son of Jacob. Jacob loved Joseph the most out of all of his sons because he was the first son from his wife Rachel, who he loved more than his other wife Leah, which we just talked about. Now, the fact that Jacob loved Joseph more than his other brothers bothered these other half-brothers greatly. Okay? It's like, Dad, you had us first. Why are you openly loving him more than us, he's the 11th one? What about us? Jacob made Joseph a robe of many colors, which Joseph wore. When his brothers saw this, they became envious and hated Joseph. So apparently, Jacob made this special coat of many colors just for Joseph to show that he's my favorite, not for the other brothers. You don't do that as parents, but Jacob did that. You read that in Genesis chapter 37, verse 1 to 4. Now, when Joseph was 17 years old, this is important, he's 17, he had two dreams. And he told his brothers the dreams. His brothers already hated him or envious of him. And so listen to these dreams that he tells them. He says, listen, brothers, I have two dreams. Let me tell you what they were. The first one, brothers, behold, we were all binding sheaves of wheat in the field, and my sheaf arose and stood upright. And behold, your sheaves gathered around it and bowed down to my sheaf. And his older half-brother said, are you indeed to rule and reign over us, little half-brother? And they said, well, I have another dream too. And behold, brothers, in this second dream, the sun, the moon, the 11 stars are all bowing down to me. It's not making him very liked with his brothers, but he can't help it. He had these dreams. He didn't cause the dreams to happen. You can hear that in Genesis chapter 37, verses 6 to 9. But both his father and his brothers both criticized Joseph for these dreams that he had. Now, one day, Joseph's older brothers are watching a flock of sheep out in a field far away. Joseph's father sent Joseph to them to see if he needed help. Now, these were his 10 older brothers, not half-brothers. His one younger full brother from Rachel, same mom, he was home with Joseph. So his older brothers are out working in a field far away, and his dad Jacob said, hey, Joseph, go see if your brothers need some help. So Joseph said, okay. Now, when his brothers saw Joseph coming from a distance, their envy aroused in them, and they plotted to kill him. Now, his oldest brother, Reuben, said, we can't kill our brother. That's so wrong. We can't kill him. But what we should do is when he gets here, let's grab him and throw him in this pit over here until we figure out what we are going to do with him. So that's what they did. They grabbed Joseph. They took off this special, he was wearing this special robe that his dad made only for him. They took off his robe and they threw him in a pit. So these 10 brothers threw him in a pit, and it was Reuben that said, hey, we can't kill him. Well, at some point, Reuben left the group. He had to go do some work somewhere else. So it's now this 9 other brothers. Reuben was the one that was protecting him just a little bit, and Joseph alone with them, and he's in this pit. And while Reuben was away, a bunch of Ishmaelite slave traders came by. Now, that's an important fact. Remember Abraham. God promised him offspring. And he and his wife Sarai, they were 85 and 75. They believed, well, Sarai's too old. God can't give me children. He must have made a mistake, or we must find it. So they took matters into their own hands. And Sarai suggested, Abraham, you should take my servant Hagar as a second wife and have a child with her for your heir, because obviously God, I guess, can't do it through me because I'm 75. Well, they were wrong. Okay, God gave her a child at 90. But then when Sarai and Abraham had their son Isaac, the second one, Sarai became very envious of Hagar that was still living with them with Ishmael, and she said, Abraham, you got to send them away. I don't want that boy here around my boy. I don't want him to be an heir with our son Isaac. And Abraham didn't want to do this. But God came to Abraham and said, it's okay if you send him away, because I will make a great people and nation out of Ishmael, because he's your offspring. We see this happen. So Reuben's away. You got the 9 other brothers. You have Joseph in a pit. And these 9 Ishmaelite slave traders came by. These are a group of people founded through Ishmael. Okay? And his older brothers decided to sell Joseph to the slave traders for 20 pieces of silver. That's important. And they did. They sold him off as a slave to these Ishmaelite slave traders that were passing by. Then they took Joseph's robe of many colors his father Jacob made him. They ripped it up. They put animal blood on it. They came home and they told their father Jacob that a fierce wild animal killed Joseph. And this is all that's left of him. He tore him apart. All that's left is this bloody robe that you made for him. Oh, it broke their father Jacob's heart. He was heartbroken for years over this because his most loved son was believed to be dead. You read that in Genesis chapter 37, verses 12 to 36. So now Joseph was taken by these Ishmaelite slave traders. They took him to Egypt, and he was a slave to be sold there. And a man bought him, and the man's name was Potiphar. And Potiphar was the captain of the Pharaoh's guard. So he was high up in, I guess, the military or secret service or whatever, protecting the Pharaoh. But God, this is an important theme all throughout Joseph's life. Although Joseph was in a horrible situation as being a slave in a foreign country, God was with Joseph, and God blessed everything that Joseph did. As a result of this, Joseph was successful at all the tasks that he did in his servants to Potiphar. Potiphar noticed that Joseph was successful at everything that he did and that God must be with him. So Potiphar made Joseph overseer of his entire estate and put him in charge of everything that Potiphar had. Okay? That's in Genesis chapter 39, verses 1 to 6.